Hey y'all, we're back down here with Timmy and Mark and Richie Petty down here at the Chiefs Pit. We're just coming back from a trip from Florida, me and my family, and we had stopped in at the Daytona International Speedway and took the tour. Now, you probably wouldn't realize it, but we grew up in racing, but we love racing history, and visiting museums around the country has anything to do with racing. Man, we're into it, ain't we, Timmy?
Well, how did you like it museum?
It was really good. We took the tour.
Because that's one I've never visited.
Well, I hadn't either. And I've seen online people doing the tour and going around the racetrack and stuff, and they show you a lot of behind the scenes stuff. But I wanted to take my crowd and put them on the racetrack and see stuff. But they were running a driving school, so we couldn't get on the racetrack. But I could see stuff that when we grew up, and it's changed so much in the last 20 years. It was kind of neat for me to reminisce. And there's the old hospital, there was the old garage, and the Goodyear building.
Right.
It's all
yeah,
gone.
you ain't been to Daytona Speedway, period.
Not for a while.
20,
it's probably
20 years.
when you raced. That's probably the last time I was down there. So you did the tour, didn't you?
Yeah, but when I went through on, man, it's been 20, 25 years ago. My kids were little, like 3 and 6, and we were on our way to Disney World, just like y'all.
Yeah.
But we did it, but we didn't really get to spend much time. They were so young that the neatest thing for them was a tram ride.
Right, that's right. Yeah,
Which, I mean, we loved it, but they were so young, I didn't get to really spend the time in there and see as much stuff as you did.
Now, they had after the tour of the racetrack and all, and you could go in like a little museum. It's some kind of international racing type deal, and they had all kinds of drag racing stuff and boat racing, and that was kind of neat. But I wanted to see the story to show my kids where Daytona come from. I mean, from a swamp, Bill France Sr.'s vision. I don't think they really hit on that enough. That explained it. I mean, that man had a vision, kind of like Walt Disney did for Disney World. He took a swampland.
Well,
and made something out of it.
sometime when you're going through our archives, draw all the stuff together from grandfather's first 500 win, and we can show the kids and everybody else some of that stuff, because that kind of creates your own part of it.
That's
right. I mean,
because you think about the Petties at Daytona, and I was a little disappointed, just to the fact that I didn't see enough that our family represented, because Lee won the first one, and Daddy and Richard were part of 9 of them, because with Lee's and P. Hamilton's and Richard's 7, there wasn't a lot to do with the Petties there, and I mean. That's holy ground for us, is the Daytona International Speedway. That's like.
Well, I think they got the 72 Charger there, right? I think it's
so,
on loan from the Petty Museum up here.
Yeah,
but
and they had a little bit, but I mean, I think they should have had a little bit more about the first one and about the history of where it come from. That's my opinion. It don't make no difference to nobody, but I just wanted to see more of Bill France Sr.'s vision in that museum.
Well, even with 75 years coming up on NASCAR, I mean, it's relatively a new sport.
Oh, it's nothing.
And thinking about some of the museums, the earlier ones, Darlington's been, that museum's been around for a long time. And I mean, I went years ago, but I don't really remember. They had some of the cheating stuff that they'd found people do.
Well, one time it was really the only museum around was the Darlington.
Right.
Yeah, they had all this stuff.
And it's really sort of out of the way for us. But
now I guess our family's been in the racing 75s, because Lee started 48 or sometime, so it's been going on 75 years. So our history is racing history. So it's really neat to see all this.
Well, and now, gosh, there's 4 or 5 museums in North Carolina. Not to mention the race teams that has museums.
We were on the way to Texas, the old Texas World Speedway, in an ARCA race in '91. And we stopped off there at Talladega and went.
Yeah, the whole family, mom and dad was with us. We was all driving.
Because what happened was, Daddy's first car, the Poison Ivy, the Chevrolet. I think it's up here at the Petty Museum now.
Well, they've got it. Yeah.
But Daddy, he wanted to see his car
because it was a race car that run on the beach in the modified, right?
And so we stopped in there and went in and toured that thing, and that was kind of a neat thing, because he actually seen a lot of the exhibits. He went to see his car.
That's really the only reason why he went.
He did, but we was all jacked up because we got to go in the museum, because I think Michael Waltrip's crashed from Bristol all tours.
What year did we do that?
91.
Yeah, because both the Hillen and Bobby Allison cars was there, because it won both Talladega races that year, and I was involved. So that was cool. Yeah. I had forgotten about that museum, and even though I went in there, I've been in there a couple of times.
But that trip back to our racing, it was the best part about when we raced was we did everything as a family.
That's right. Everybody
and there was Mom and Dad there with us, and all our friends that went with us to help. Phil Pendry was with us, right?
I think Craig Breedlove was with us.
Craig and
Rick McPherson.
Yep, that's right. Everybody was with us, wasn't
they? Oh yeah.
And I don't know. It was relaxing. It was cool to see a lot of that history
we were
and hear Daddy's stories as we went through there.
Yeah.
We wasn't in no hurry.
No, and we were 21, 22-year-old kids.
Yep.
And yeah, we grew up in it and stuff. But this is again, we got to see.
Well, and later on, we got to go to that same museum when Daddy got inducted into that Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That was
I'd forgotten about that.
And speaking of, there's a little tidbit from the International Speedway from down there at this is Daddy's and Lee.
The International Motorsports Hall of Fame, right?
This is when they got inducted. These are their medals that when they got in. So there's a little show and tell for you today.
So where's the other museums here in North? We got the North Carolina.
Well, we got the Petty Museum.
Well, I know, but the other
Brothers Museum.
Yeah.
RCR's got their museum, which Chocolate Myers.
Now, RCR Museum is really cool because
he saved a real thing.
It's like he just walked out the shop and left the tools where they were.
And he was big on just leave it the way it is.
Do you think you could get Chocolate to give us a tour of there sometime?
Absolutely.
I've never been through it. That'd be pretty neat.
I've only went in there once.
But they got the whole tractor trailer in there. It's a cool deal.
And basically they set like the 3 shop. He left it like it was and bought different equipment and just left that to show how it was.
I haven't been, but what I keep hearing from people is Hendrix. His museum's probably the best in the day.
You've been over, ain't you?
I was lucky enough to get to walk through there. They wasn't really open, but I had to haul a car over there for the museum.
Yeah,
Childress has a good one.
Yeah,
but I think Hendrix.
I wonder if Penske's got one.
I'm sure they all do. Like you said, the Rouse show, I'm sure they all do.
Yeah. Oh, well, speaking of which, the Indianapolis one. And y'all asked me how I went to that. And the only time I went was a couple years after I was involved with a win, and just to see it, And it's one of them revolving museums where it changes. Mm-hmm. And the thing that interests me most was the cars around the early 1900s, and some of that stuff was really cool.
The car I'd want to see up there in Indianapolis would be the Gordon Johncock car because it's got the Petty blue on it.
Oh, the 82.
Yeah. Well, and they had a little section where it looked like the old garage stalls, and some of the 1950s, maybe even earlier than that cars. But the museum stuff, I'm a history buff anyhow.
Well, and another shout out, I'm going to bring up the Petty Museum again, but what makes it so neat is it's right here on the grounds where Daddy and
the original shops,
Uncle Richard were born.
And it's the real car. Most of them's real cars.
Yeah, and everything's on it's just neat that it can be right there where it really all started.
Yeah, it is. Huh. And it started from a dirt floor reaper shed into a major race shop, and then now it's an ultimate museum now.
So the one in Mooresville was the North Carolina Museum.
Is that the one that
North Carolina Motorsports Hall of Fame, I believe.
Right, and then you got another one called Memory Lane, which Mr. Beam, what was his name? Herman Beam.
Yeah.
He had done a lot of cars.
Is that the one where the Billy Bisco?
I think so.
The one grandfather went out the wall.
I've only been in there once.
Yep.
Gosh, it's been a long time.
I've walked through there, and I think I've seen it there.
Yeah. So what's the one right before you get to Charlotte Motor Speedway? Is it still in existence?
I've never been in that one.
I haven't either, but there is a, I don't know, memory lane. No, I can't think of the name of it, but anyway, it doesn't matter. There's one there, and is there any more of the old NASCAR people that's got museums?
I think everybody's got a little bit of something going on, but I think that's the biggest ones. And I think if you really wanted to do a tour, if you were coming into the area, I think you have to hit the Petties, you got to hit Childress, and you got to hit Hendrix. And then, you got the NASCAR Hall of Fame, and they got rotating stuff too, and that's a good place to go. But the neat thing is to go to Childress and Petty's and Hendrix because that's actual race shops.
Right.
It's kind of cool.
And then I guess that old Winston Cup Museum, that'd have been part of the tour. I don't know if they're still open or not.
Yeah,
but
that's
yes, Will Spencer.
I've never been to that one either.
I've been in it, but I didn't really get to look at the stuff because it's sort of in a hurry when I.
But like I say, you start adding it up, boy, and we need to take a field trip one day and go to that Darlington one.
Oh yeah, I think we should make a field trip back to Daytona. And do the
that'd be fun.
Just go do the old sites because when we were down there, we went and rode through, and they have a plaque down there at the south turn, and the north turn's still up there, but the Streamliner Hotel where they started NASCAR, it's still there.
Right.
So, and then a lot of the hotels we stayed at, they're still there. And we could do an episode on Daytona where we used to stay at, but it was kind of neat to show my kids, and I wish y'all was with me. because we could have seen so much more that y'all would remember.
That's kind of why we're doing this, is to tell our kids
and
about.
I wish Daddy was with us, because he could have told us even more about, like you were talking about, the drive-in where they used to go get inspected down there at the armory and all that. And
yeah.
So, yeah, it was a fun trip, and we enjoyed it, and I hope we get to go back together and experience it together again.
I'm gonna eat me some oysters.
Well, there's another little episode for the Petty Brothers, and hey, check out our online store. We're going to sell some of these little old artifacts and stuff that we got too on there, and we got some new stuff. So check us out, and like and subscribe, and thank you.